Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We are with Chat with Yasmin, who's me. I'm on feet. Feet are probably, in my personal opinion, are probably the most neglected part of our bodies. I'm going to say feet and neck. Maybe it's necks. Maybe next week. Maybe it's necks. Maybe next week I'll talk about necks. But feet definitely. Either people actually hate them, love them, but nearly always neglect them. So, all right. So that's my personal opinion about feet. And although we depend on our feet so much, we walk on them all the time, and yet they are neglected. From a beauty point of view, there's a treatment called pedicure to look after your feet. And very similar to manicure, where we're looking at the toenails, we're cutting the toenails, filing them down, making sure that they're not too long, and we're looking at areas of hard skin, and basically we're looking at the skin from the tips of the toes right up to the knee area when pedicure's being done. Of course, firstly they're looking at the cleaning up the cuticle areas, making sure the nails look tidy, and similar to the manicure, most pedicures are ended with nail varnish. Although, like I said with the manicure, that's just an extra, but the nail varnish is to show that some personal care has been done. So for a pedicure, they cut off the nails. We rub down the hard skin that's on the foot anywhere that there's a build-up of hard skin, and our bodies talk to us in different ways. And when you've got a build-up of hard skin on your feet, you should actually think about why is there hard skin there? And it could be for a number of reasons, but when I'm doing pedicures, most of us seem to have one foot bigger than the other, but of course we only buy one size shoe. So the foot that is a little bit smaller than the other foot, it moves around in the shoe, and in moving around in the shoe, of course, it's rubbing up against the shoe, and the foot develops a hard skin to protect itself from this rubbing that's happening. So it can work the other way as well, where if you're wearing shoes that are too tight for you, that tightness will cause the foot to develop hard skin to protect itself. Right. So anyway, in the pedicure, we rub down the hard skin with what we call a rasp. Generally, people may recognise it as something that looks like a cheese grater, and then the other side of the rasp, is a thinner version that will smooth out. So we use the cheese grater side of the rasp to take off any excess dead skin. But what we have to keep in mind is dead skin is there for a reason. So we shouldn't actually try to remove all of it unless we're moving all of our, changing all of our shoes, all of our footwear. The dead skin is up there for a reason. So if you don't change all of your shoes or change what it is that you're doing to develop the hard skin, it's going to come back, right? And of course, the exfoliation, which is so important, taking off that top layer of dead skin to help with the smoothing. What I have noticed in salons, there's a lot of salons that use razor blades or tools that have got razor blades in them to take off that excess dead skin, which in theory feels very nice, feels like they're getting your foot back to normal, but like I said, there's a reason why that dead skin, that harder skin, has built up, and it's to protect your foot from whether its shoes are too large, that they're moving around, or they're too small, so it's really, really tight. But one of the things that sticks in my mind is that in the UK, it's actually illegal to cut dead skin, but yet it seems to happen anyway, so whoever's checking that the correct procedure is being followed obviously isn't checking on that, or the razor blades go away when when the inspector comes. But the scrapers, like I said, the cheese grater looking thing, and the smoother version to smooth out after you've roughed up the area is good. But if you've got hard skin, you really shouldn't look at taking away all of it, because like I said, it's built up for a reason. Right. So we've got the pedicure, which is really more of a cosmetic treatment to make your feet feel relaxed. To sort out your cuticles, to cut your toenails, to soften the skin, to even massage the foot to help with your relaxation. But there are also medical procedures such as chiropodists and or pediatrists. How do you pronounce that? Podiatrists? Anyway, it's for foot treatments. Some people have gone to see a chiropodist because whatever problems they've had with their feet is more than what a pedicurist can sort out, and they've left. I'm going to say they've left the chiropodist disappointed, although the chiropodist has sorted out the one thing that they went there for. It's more of a medical thing, whether it's oh gosh, I can't even think of the names, like bunions and not so much broken toes, but broken toes that didn't get reset, so they're in the wrong position, or ingrown toenails, fungal treatments. And the chiropodist literally only treats that particular issue. They don't do what pedicurists do. The pedicurist is looking from the tip of the toe right up to the knee, and they're doing the whole thing, so you actually feel like you've had a treatment. But with the chiropodists, they are just dealing with that 1, 2, 3, whatever the particular problems that you're having with your feet. So the chiropodist is for foot health care, and like I said, that's what they treat your foot for, and your lower limbs. But meanwhile, the podiatrist, I've got the pronunciation right, podiatrist, because I was struggling with it earlier. I know the word, but I just can't think of how to pronounce it. Focuses more on surgical procedures. I have a friend that's had several treatments done on her feet, and I personally, should really have a treatment done on my foot. Back in the day, I bought my daughter a pogo stick. I don't know if there's anyone online that remembers what a pogo stick is, but it's a stick that's got two foot areas for your foot to rest on, and it's got a spring. And basically, you can jump up, you hold the top, you put your 2 feet on it, and you jump up and down. I bought my daughter one of those, and I was really enthusiastic about it. And she looked at it and was like, "Thanks, Mum, but no thanks." So I got on this pogo stick, said, "Oh, it's really fun." Jumping up and down on it, showing her how much fun this pogo stick is. And yeah, long story short, I fell off of it and broke my toe. Yeah, so I fell off of it and broke my toe. But back then, I'm talking about in the early 90s this happened. And yeah, I hobbled around for a few weeks and that. But no medical advisor actually said, "Oh, you should get it reset or anything." And I was quite comfortable with it once the pain had gone and that. But it's now in my older age, so my toes are laying nice and flat, and this one toe is bent up like this. It's like if I had got it put in splints or whatever, it would be nice and smooth like my other toes. But that's what a podiatrist would have sorted out. So the chiropodist is looking at nail and foot disorders, but the podiatrist is more of a how would you say, a surgical procedure. In the last few weeks, I've been through the bones of the foot, and just to remind anybody that wants to go back and do their revision for your exam, they'll most often mention the tibia, tarsals, metatarsals, and phalanges. All right, so the tibia and fibula are the bones of the lower leg, and I'm not going to tell you which one is the fat one, which one is the slim one, because I actually discussed it a couple of weeks ago. So either go to your class notes or go back to my video and tell me in the comments which one is the slim bone and which one is your shin bone, your tibia or your fibula. And then we have the tarsals, which are the 8 bones in your ankle, and we've got the metatarsals, which are the bones of your feet. And then we go on to the phalanges, which are the bones of your toes. I feel like I'm skipping through them, but we've done a class on it already. And I'm just saying the names to remind you, if you haven't gone back and done your revision on them, that this is the time to do it. And then I'm moving on to the muscles of the feet and lower leg. It's actually more of the lower leg, the gastrocnemius, and underneath halfway underneath the gastrocnemius and down to the ankle is the ciliarius, and then we've got my pronunciation, ankleus tendon, the tendon ankleus, the tibius longus, which is the muscle on the side of the tibia, and the peroneus longus. And the word name longus is actually meaning that it's a long bone. And last but not least, it's our extensor digitorium, and those are the muscles that make our toes bend, that allow us to be able to bend or stretch our toes, extend our toes out. All right, so that's a digitorium extensor, and of course the digitoriums are the smaller ones that are on the phalanges, and the phalanges are the bones of either the fingers or the toes. So that's just a little bit about the different treatments that are used for the foot and lower leg. But as I started off by saying, the feet are probably, like in my view, one of the most neglected part of our bodies, and one of the simplest and easiest things to do with our feet is to actually just soak them, especially nowadays in the 21st century, where more people seem to have showers rather than from baths. So the feet, apart from being neglected anyway, yes, I assume you wash it all over and you wash your feet and you wash in between the toes, but the actual soaking of the feet and giving them their individual care doesn't seem to happen as often when we're using the shower. And you've probably seen on other social medias that they mention about not just soaking your feet, but adding other things in the water or on the soles of your feet to increase your health. Because the soles of your feet are actually the map of your body, and reflexologists will be able to actually use to manipulate different parts of the soles of your feet to help organs in your body. But also, the soles of your feet are, that skin seems to absorb more than the other skin on our body, the skin being the largest organ of our body. But the soles of your feet seem to absorb more. So a simple thing, I remember, since I even had my own daughter, and if she had a cold, as a newborn, perhaps up to age 3, 5, it was simply, rather than give her a cough medicine, it's just about putting garlic on the soles of her feet, and it would help to clear her lungs, because her feet absorbed anything that was put there, and the garlic was absorbed into the blood system, and what it does, so garlic or onion, is something that we would use on the soles of the feet. And then nowadays, as we've grown up, as we're now adults, and we've taken the time out to soak our feet, they actually suggest things like Epsom salts, and this helps to relax the muscles. Those feet are working all the time, so Epsom salts is a perfect substance to put in your hot water that you're soaking your feet in. And we actually suggest you doing this ideally a couple of times a week, but at least once a week. Just giving your feet a good soak. And from the shops in general, you can buy what they call foot soak, and they've got all the different ones, whether it's lavender, a foot relaxer, or that sort of thing. So seriously think about getting yourself a foot soak or using a natural foot soak. One of the natural foot soaks that is suggested is apple cider vinegar, and that's to help with your lymphatic system. And as the talks that I've done recently, the lymphatic system is what helps to drain the toxins out of your body. I don't know who that is. Anyway, and it balances your and it balances your pH. It balances your pH and breaks down the toxins, which I'm just repeating what I've said previously. I had a message saying that there's a slow connection. So like what I do every week, I'm apologizing if my lips are moving and the words are not coming out, or the words are coming out and my lips are still, but you know, it's because it's a slow connection. They also, for foot soaking, they also suggest things like rosemary, lavender, and ginger. And it's all to do with helping to draw toxins out of your body or to increase your lymphatic system working so that it will help to excrete and or secrete the toxins that are in your body. And just the fact that you're doing something on your feet or with your feet, it helps to stimulate the circulation, especially the things like the ginger, right? So that's it. We've got the apple cider vinegar, and the fact that you're doing things with your feet, you're doing a foot massage. You know, when you have a pedicure, a foot massage is included. When you do reflexology, of course, is a complete massage of the soles of your feet to help to stimulate certain organs in your body. But it also, you know, after having a foot massage, generally people have reported that they've slept so much better. It's helped to ease their brain fog. They feel a little bit more stress-free. And you know, when you think it's a foot massage, it's the soles of your feet, it's the furthest away from your shoulders or your headache or whatever. But yet, it does help to relieve the stress. And those, you know, do your research, look up other products that can help with detoxification, which is, of course, part when you're soaking your feet, putting these products that I mentioned earlier into the water. And the hotter the water, the better it is, because it helps to open the pores, so not you personally, but you know, these products will be drawn into your blood system and much better, absorbed into your blood system much better. One of my, I started with my personal opinion, but also what we've got to consider is that we've got the heart to pump blood around our body, but all that the lymphatic system literally runs parallel to our blood system. So wherever we've got blood, there's a lymphatic system, but it doesn't have a pump. So it depends on us to move. You know, if you've had people in hospital or bedbound, it's one of the biggest worries because the lymph just sits there and they end up with bed sores and that sort of thing. There's the same thing with our feet. Our feet are so far away from our heart that basically by the time the pump gets down to, let's say, mid-thigh, to the knee area, the flow is much slower than it would be if it was in this top area. So we need to do things, movement, to help to increase circulation, so to help the health of our feet. And like I said, the heart is all the way up here, but we should consider our calves, the back of our lower leg, as our second heart. It's quite a nice, big, chunky muscle, and we need to do things to make that muscle work to help not just the circulation, but to help the lymphatic system move back up. You know, we do that, of course, just by general day-to-day movement, but we can increase it by just standing and going on our toes, you know, because that helps to pump the blood from our calves back up, pump the lymphatic system from our lower half back upwards, all right? Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit negative now. I'm convinced that we go from our feet up. You know, so we need to keep our feet as healthy as possible to slow down the process. Yes, I know one certainty that we've got in life is that we're going to pass away, but at least give the system a chance to refresh and rejuvenate itself. And also, I don't know, maybe some people don't believe in this, but the fact that you're doing something to look after yourself, you know, twice a week, you set up your bowl with your hot water, you put your products in, whether it's lavender or garlic or apple cider vinegar or rosemary, and you sat there for a good 10-20 minutes and soak your feet and then take your foot out, and you know, you've rubbed it down with the rasp, and you know, you smoothed it down with another razor that's much thinner than the rasp, and you've done your massage with your foot massage cream. It's showing yourself some personal love as well, apart from just increasing your circulation, you know, and helping with the lymphatic system, helping with the circulation, so help push it back up so it can move around your body nicely. Alright, so that's me talking about feet and the importance of looking after. Last time you gave your foot a nice soak. When's the last time you actually massaged your foot? Or do you have a partner that will massage your foot for you? Please share with me. And that's as much as I'm going to say about feet, circulation, bones of the feet, the muscles. That's for the students to go back to the bones of the feet and the muscles, and for us general public, it's just to remind you that we need to look after our feet a little bit more than we do now. Thank you for listening in, and I'll see you next week Thursday at 8 p.m. It won't be Greenwich Mean Time, it will be British Summer Time because this weekend the clocks are going forwards. Alright, okay, bye.